Accutron watches present The Accutron Show, a time travel through American culture, with your hosts David Graver and Indrani. Visit AccutronWatch.com and discover the brand that has made American history with an all-new proprietary next-generation electrostatic energy movement. Accutron. It's not a timepiece, it's a conversation piece.
I like to dialogue with the young generation of girls and women who are not afraid of judgment. And this is extremely important.
The voice you heard at the top of the show is Fausto Puglisi, known for his work with Dolce & Gabbana and now with Cavalli. Also, he's known for his amazing work with celebrities like Beyoncé, Taylor Swift, and Madonna. But first up, me, Indrani Palchodri, and David Graver here on a new episode of The Accutron Show. Stay tuned.
This podcast is presented by Accutron Watches. Visit our website, accutronwatch.com, and discover our iconic SpaceView 2020 collection, recreating the stunning visual impact of the original open-dial design, combined with an all-new electrostatic energy movement. Time just changed. Again. The Accutron SpaceView 2020.
So today, I'm so excited to meet Fausto Puglisi. He's such an incredible designer.
I also love his path, that he was born on Sicily, found his way to the United States, had this vision of Hollywood and fashion in his heart, and then now is a creative director at a major fashion house. Like, that's a pretty excellent story.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, the role of celebrity in his growth as an artist, as a fashion designer. You know, for me, having grown up working with celebrities and launching Beyoncé's first album and working with Lady Gaga, I know how hard it can be to work with celebrities and to bring their vision to life while also developing your own style, your own essence. So I'm very interested to learn about how he's balanced the celebrity world with his creativity.
I'm curious to know how celebrity translates today, knowing that one of his big breaks is affixed to sort of like dressing Whitney Houston. That's powerful, but I wonder what it means to do two Madonna concert tour outfits. Like, how does that help develop your portfolio or your personality or your recognition in the world of fashion today?
Well, I think celebrity has been everything in fashion for many years, but it's also, there's a shift now. I think that celebrities are important when they connect with the important trends. And so it's curious to see how that affects the designer relationship. And I really want to ask him about J-Lo and Zendaya. You know, I've worked with J-Lo a lot and love her strength and her, you know, she will wear what she feels. She will not just wear something because it's proposed to her. So it's interesting to see how he's worked with these big personalities.
Agree. I do think Zendaya is the future of fashion, and I always look forward to seeing her on red carpets. And I feel like she is very brand allegiant, and she lets people know what aligns with her identity, and that's powerful moving forward, and that's strong for a brand.
Absolutely.
Do you work with stylists, or did you work with stylists when you were doing your fashion and music photography?
Yeah, I work with many stylists. Patty Wilson, I think, is a stylist that we share with Fausto. But I also work with G.K. Reed a lot. So, and I know you've seen him around the studio. He also works with me as a producer now on my films. So it's that relationship between the artist and the stylist is such a powerful one and really shapes so much of the creative process.
And consumers' understanding of identity, of celebrity identity, of brand identity. Wow, that's pretty powerful. I bet Fausto's got a lot to tell us about his path in the fashion world and maybe what he hopes to see moving forward.
I think that Fausto represents a new generation of designers, bringing their own aesthetic into a house that represents a tradition, but helping to shape the way we all view ourselves.
How important is fashion to you?
I love fashion. I have a love-hate relationship with it because I started off being so passionate about fashion and then learning about the sustainability challenges and the slavery in the supply chain made me really lose touch in a certain way with the magic of fashion. I got really caught up in how we can transform fashion so that it provides for a greater well-being for everyone.
When you wake up and you're about to dress yourself for the day, do you have a vision or do you just grab and you're assembled?
Oh, it's fashion is there's always a challenge in it, right? It's like, who am I today? And for me, it's getting to work with indigenous tribes, wearing things that represent where my heart is, really makes me feel powerful. So I think that fashion has a very important role, but I think we all have to find ourselves so that we can work with fashion and not have the fashion wear us,
100%. Sometimes I wake up and I want to avoid all decision-making, and sometimes I wake up and I say, let's be creative today.
Well, it's exciting to hear from one of the world's greatest designers today.
Yes. More from Fausto Puglisi after this.
This podcast is presented by Accutron Watches. Visit our website, accutronwatch.com, and discover our Accutron DNA collection. Reimagined for a new generation, the Accutron DNA combines breakthrough technology, precise engineering, and modern aesthetics to achieve a new level of technical excellence. The Accutron DNA, the new face of time for those who blaze new trails.
Fausto, thank you for taking the time to be with us here today on the Accutron Show. I would actually like to begin with where you began, Sicily. Can you talk about how your Sicilian heritage has impacted your career and maybe even your style?
Oh, yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, Sicily is completely my life. It's my past, my present, my future, is my DNA. And, Sicily is an island, which is already something very, particular. Okay, it's part of Italy, but it's an island. So we are islander. Okay, so at the same time, it's an island which I love because it's really has been dominated and has been so represented by different culture. Okay, so many different cultures: Normans, Arabs, Greeks, Roman, Jews, everybody living in this island. And this is fantastic because it's one of the rare places in the world where different cultures live together. And there is so many stratification, is right in English, right? It's the right word? Okay, thank you. Of different culture. Of course, it's a big contrast itself. It's a huge contrast in a good way, in a bad way. Of course, we all know the tragedy of the mafia, and we all know also amazing angels fighting against that. And so you have it's the place where culture is born at the same time because Greeks arrived there first, and so it's a place of huge, amazing culture, and there is so many different heads. There are so many different point of views. It's like Pirandello, which is one of my myths, used to say nobody, 100, and 100,000. I mean, which is a way to say that the Sicilian is everything and the opposite of everything. It's the myth of the mask, the tragedy and the comedy. I mean, so many things to say. Of course, it's a place I love also from a different kind of point of view, like the sea and the food and traditions. And at the same time, the idea of the mise en scène, okay, the religion, okay. The mise en scène is everything for a Sicilian. I was a kid and I was obsessed with the big religious ceremony, to celebrate the Madonna of this, the Madonna of that. And, it's part of this big research for being beautiful. You have to dress up. And you have to be perfect. And at the same time, the big culture for the jewelry, okay? Like we have an incredible antiques culture connected to the jewelry and to decoration. So there are so many things connected to my personality, to my DNA, and to my vision. A Sicilian can be very, very nice and can be very rude at the same time, can be very loud, but can be very sophisticated at the same time. It's one of the very few places in Italy where aristocracy had such an important impact. So aristocracy, religion, but also simple people. And the fight between these different cultures itself, okay,